Title: Princess Leonor revealed the secret behind her wedding dress. The cameras flashed. The crowd held its breath. The doors of the cathedral opened, and Spain's future queen stepped into history. Princess Leonor, radiant and calm, walked down the aisle in a gown that captured the world's attention. It was elegant, timeless, and undeniably royal. But behind that beauty was something no one knew. A hidden message. A secret that would only be revealed after the ceremony. Because this dress was more than silk and lace. It was a story, a bridge between generations, love, and legacy. A secret that only Leonor herself could tell. For months before the wedding, rumors swirled. Designers were tight-lipped. Royal insiders whispered that Leonor's gown would break tradition, yet honor the monarchy's past. Some said it would echo Queen Letitia's wedding dress. Others believed it would be a bold statement of independence. But no one knew the truth. Not even those closest to her. The royal family kept every detail under lock and key. Fittings were done in private. Sketches were hidden. Only a handful of people, her mother, her stylist, and the designer, were allowed in the room when the first fabric was chosen. It wasn't just secrecy for the sake of surprise. Leonor wanted this gown to speak. To send a message to her people, her family, and her future. When she stepped out of the royal carriage, the world saw what they thought was a traditional dress. Long sleeves, a fitted bodice, a soft, flowing train. But the details told another story. Every stitch, every line, every thread carried meaning. Later, after the ceremony, Leonor revealed it all in an emotional statement that melted hearts across the world. She said, "This dress is a memory. It carries the women who came before me, and the future I promise to serve." The first secret was the fabric. It wasn't made entirely new. Hidden within the gown's lining were pieces of lace from Queen Letitia's own wedding veil, delicately stitched near the heart. It was her mother's gift, a symbol of strength passed from one queen to the next. But that wasn't all. The thread used in certain parts of the embroidery came from a piece of her great-grandmother Queen Sophia's wedding dress. Tiny strands of history, invisible to the eye, woven into the design. It was tradition reborn through love and remembrance. The embroidery itself held meaning too. Along the edges of the sleeves, if you looked closely, were delicate golden olive branches, the national symbol of Spain. But Leonor added something new, small wildflowers inspired by the countryside where she spent her childhood summers. She said it reminded her of freedom, simplicity, and home. The designer revealed that Leonor was deeply involved in every stage of the creation. Unlike many royal brides who delegate their gown to teams of stylists, she sketched her own ideas, chose the fabrics, and oversaw every fitting personally. She didn't want a gown made for a princess, she wanted one made for a woman stepping into destiny. And then, there was the final, most moving detail, the hidden message inside the gown. Sewn near her heart, in gold thread, were the words, Amor y Deber, love and duty. 2 words that defined not just her marriage, but her role as Spain's future queen. No one knew about it until she spoke after the ceremony. She revealed that it was her own handwriting, carefully embroidered by hand by one of Spain's oldest royal ateliers. It was her way of reminding herself that love and responsibility can coexist, that she could be both a wife and a leader. When the world learned this secret, admiration turned to awe. Headlines everywhere captured it. Leonor's dress carries a hidden promise. A queen's message sewn in gold. The secret that made Spain cry. But there was more. The jewelry she wore that day also carried emotional weight. The tiara belonged to Queen Sophia, worn by her grandmother during state visits. But the earrings, simple pearls, were Letitia's gift, worn on the day she married King Felipe. Leonor's choice to wear them together symbolized the unity of 3 generations of royal women. Observers noticed how her veil flowed lightly in the Madrid breeze. That veil wasn't just fabric, it was made in collaboration with Spanish artisans from across the country. Every province contributed a small piece of lace, a gesture Leonor personally requested. It was her way of bringing her nation together, thread by thread, into her moment of love. During the reception, the designer was asked how Leonor handled the creative process. His words said it all. She knew exactly what she wanted. Every choice had purpose. She wanted to wear history, not repeat it. And perhaps that's what made the gown so unforgettable. It wasn't a display of luxury. It was a quiet revolution. A statement that a new generation of monarchy could carry tradition without being bound by it. Even the color was deliberate. It wasn't stark white. It carried a soft, almost silvery hue. In Spanish symbolism, that tone represents peace and renewal. For Leonor, it marked a fresh chapter, not just in her life, but in Spain's story. When photos of the gown spread worldwide, experts praised it as one of the most meaningful royal wedding dresses in decades. It wasn't the grandest. It wasn't the most expensive. But it was the most personal. Every inch spoke of identity, love, and heritage. After the wedding, in a rare interview, Leonor shared a memory from her final fitting. She said, "When I looked in the mirror, I didn't see a princess. I saw a woman ready to serve her country, to honor her family, and to love with truth." Those words captured hearts everywhere. Behind palace walls, her mother Letizia reportedly cried during that final fitting. For her, it was more than a wedding. It was seeing her daughter grow into her destiny. It was the moment one queen watched another take her first steps into history. And the most beautiful part. Leonor insisted on one final detail before the gown was completed. She asked that no synthetic material be used. She wanted every part of her dress to be pure, made from Spanish silk, organic cotton, and locally sourced lace. It was her tribute to Spanish craftsmanship, and a gesture of sustainability for a modern monarchy. That decision alone inspired designers worldwide. Suddenly, royal fashion wasn't just about beauty, it was about purpose. Even after the wedding, people continued to analyze every photograph. Fashion experts discovered symbols hidden in the embroidery, tiny stars near the hem, representing guidance and hope. Leonor later confirmed that they were inspired by her father's words, "Follow your own light, even in the darkest sky." Each discovery made the dress more powerful. It wasn't just fabric. It was her story, woven in silence, revealed in grace. Weeks later, when the royal archives released close-up photos of the gown, Spain's public fell in love with her all over again. Schools displayed replicas in history lessons. Museums requested to exhibit it. And for the first time in decades, a royal wedding gown was seen not just as fashion, but as national art. Princess Leonor didn't just wear a dress that day. She wore her country, her past, her future, her heart. And when she finally revealed the secret behind it, the hidden message, the family memories, the symbols of love and duty, the world understood something profound. This wasn't a dress of rebellion. It was a dress of identity. Because beneath the crown, the titles, and the ceremony, Leonor proved one simple truth. Even queens can tell stories not with words, but with stitches of meaning. She revealed the secret not to impress, but to remind us that true elegance isn't what you wear, it's what you stand for. And as the crowd watched her leave the palace that evening, sunlight glinting on the threads of gold near her heart, they knew Spain had not just witnessed a royal wedding. They had witnessed a legacy begin. Princess Leonor's secret was never about fabric or fashion. It was about love. The kind of love that binds a family, a nation, and a future queen to her people forever.